So yeah, that whole balance between playing supportive and playing aggressive, that's like, that's the main thing here. But you'll notice a lot with their gameplay that they're just like, because I'm curious with zones, because there's a lot of times where I'll like make sure I'm painting the zone in order to apply a penalty at certain parts of the match. But they're so like, I don't care about the objective with Rainmaker and Clan Blitz until they already have their advantage. Like, and that's kind of the decision point is like, hey, I think it's Kurokuro. The splash on the enemy team. But until they find that one opening, they're playing super greedy for that. So again, I'm gonna kind of like take control a little bit. I'm gonna fast forward through deaths in most spots unless there's unless I have a question about if they jump in a certain spot. But I'm gonna take it like basically I'm not streaming, but obviously if you have any questions, let me know. Yo, what's up, Kiki? Yeah, I made some coffee. I'm not like a cool person that drinks their coffee black. I don't mind it sometimes, but I just like I buy like a instant coffee mix or whatever, so it like does not taste good. But I do like plain coffee for like when there's actually good stuff. So anyways, like I was saying before, they're kind of playing ledges. They always have the opportunity to drop. So it's like, you know, they're playing behind cover here. I wholly support that. Pog. Sometimes I have like little whipped creams and stuff, but I'm too broke right now. The economy does not let me do that. So like they're playing behind this cover right here, and they're playing by this ledge, and they end up seeing this ball point, and when they see that ball point, they dip out at this point. You know, this isn't really a fight they can win. They're getting their feet painted. They drop out. And then again, what are we doing when we're in this spot? Not only are they playing like the back part of this area, they're also playing like in this corner so that they always have the option to drop back. There's also this cool thing you can do with this truck where like if you go into squid form on the very, very edge of the truck, it makes the vantage point for this person like hard to see you. And if they're not paying attention, they might just completely miss it. So find the pick. Imagine they probably sharked the rest of the way here. Okay, yeah, they went for the punish. They could have gone for a fight on the left side. But yeah, they got double picks. 4 seconds left. It's like, oh, could they have like painted the zone and like ended the game that way? But again, they're very like focused on just finding their picks and maintaining control that way. So that's a common thing that you'll see a lot that differs a lot from a lot of people. Melon does it a lot as well for zones where like there's like in this spot they have a huge lead, and when they almost had like they're really close to KO, but even if they're not close to KO, like any time that they can give up the zone to find an easy, like if the enemy team is going to overextend to find a pick or two, they will trade giving the zone away in order to find those picks and maintain control of the map. That's probably one of the biggest decision-making things for zones specifically that I've learned from watching good players. Yeah, I was gonna say they might push their plot with this because they had the jet. If the jet stayed alive, they might have pushed it, but jet goes down. Yeah, like at this point, like they don't care about zone at all. They're kind of like lurking a little bit. Probably going to camp that jump if they can find it. I don't even know where they landed. Ah, they landed underneath. That great. Yeah, you can see like during these moments, like I find this pick. I mean, with one person left, I'd probably push it. Like in this situation, I'd be so focused on like just get my special and then set up for special because I'm really close in this spot. But they don't waste a lot of time in paint like on those types of things. If they have it, that's great. If not, like, I don't know. You get a lot of information by just like lurking. I think I like under appreciate that, like the value of just like sitting and observing what the enemy team's doing. And it feels bad because it's like, oh, I should be doing things. If I'm just sitting in ink, I'm not doing anything. But there's a lot of value in like the threat of someone being in a position, and if they don't know where you're at, they have to worry specifically about, you know, where you could be at any given moment. So we'll keep going through. So the other map in this rotation is Museum. They go for array flank at the beginning, which is interesting. They played a little bit around zone here. Maybe they don't. They probably don't want to take a fight against the rapid blaster in this spot, so it's probably why they back up here. But I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I'm interested in like why they open this way. Like they could have gone for a more aggressive play. What's up, X-Ray? They could have gone for a more like they had time to like get underneath this area, but I guess they don't have teammates in paint, so maybe they don't like it. But again, it goes back to this whole idea of like why did they go for this play in the first place? Maybe they were looking for something specific and they just like didn't find it. Like maybe they were looking for someone, but they just like didn't commit enough to where I don't know why they back up here. I don't know what they're going for in this spot. Anyways, jump back to teammate. Nice pick. Like in this spot, like again, it's very little things. Like in this spot, I would be like jump shotting. I don't even know why. Like, cause I don't need the extra range, and it just like it weakens my movement. Like if you jump in this spot, it weakens your movement. It makes it easier for you to get hit by this vertical slash from the stamper. But they're just like they're very chill in a lot of spots. When they know they're in a good spot, they're just like I don't know. They don't do a ton of jumping, which I find interesting. I'm guessing they're gonna want to punish the. Oh, I think they were gonna punish the jump because the jump lands like right here. They probably get a bomb and push under the sledge if their teammates survive, but because their teammates went down on the right side, they can't go for that play anymore. Ooh, they get hit by the marker. Because a lot of times they'll like push up in ink to be able to find a pick, but when you get marked like that, you have to abandon your plans. I think that's something that a lot of just high-level players in general do a great job of, is like they have what they want to do, but if the conditions worsen and they don't like the spot anymore, like they'll dip out. Good jump. Yeah, that's rapid blaster. It's a bit of a pain. Yeah, nice job using cover to play around. That's so interesting. Like, they do a great job here. Yeah, what's up, Jamie? They do such a great job here of using this cover from this wall to ignore the crab. And, like, crab's on low ground. You're on this tiny little, like, platform right here. They can't really do anything in order to, like, this crab can't expo shot or use its main weapon to do anything. So it's just like... Rentana uses this time now to throw these strikes in zone, which is just funny. Yeah, again, you don't see a lot of jumping from them in these spots. Like, jumping is used for like getting extra range. Thank you. Shout out to X-Ray. Jumping's also good when you have limited mobility options like around you. Like when the enemy team's painting your feet and stuff. Outside of those scenarios that I mentioned where like you can slosh and slide out of an area. But like right now we're kind of in the open. We don't have like we can't slide off of the ledge or we can't get behind cover very easily. We can maybe get behind cover here. But we're kind of like stuck out in the open in this kind of situation. So jumping makes a little bit more sense because we're not going to take damage from the ink and we're not going to have reduced mobility. Like we have reduced mobility from jumping, but that's still a little bit more freedom than like being stuck in enemy paint and not having anywhere to go. So it's like those forced like bad positions is when Rentana feels this like forced to jump in spots. Yeah, be careful about that left side. Wow. Yeah. It's interesting when watching them so far in zones, like, they're having a harder time finding movement options in zones compared to the other modes. I feel like they had a lot more freedom to move around when watching watching them play like Rainmaker and Clan Blitz, which makes sense because like zones is a little bit more structured with how like the game itself plays out. But so far they've had like, I think they've been playing like solid, but like they've had a hard time really like finding opportunities to get in. I don't think those strikes are ever I don't think these strikes are ever like punishing jump-ins. So I'm guessing they just use these strikes to be able to take better positions. Like push the enemy team off the ledge so that we can get underneath ledges, but I don't know if we actually needed to use strikes there. Yeah. That again against Whale, it's like it's really difficult for them to be able to like kind of shark and do what they want to do. I'd probably queue up a jump, but yeah. I would have jumped earlier, but there's a chance that they can hold out and find the pick on the Ding Jet. Yeah, this feels like a pretty strong lobby. They just have a really difficult time finding a way in. I think if you're Rentana in this situation, like your team is down a ton. Like you have to get through like a pretty small penalty to be fair, but there's like a lot of points left and there's only a minute left. So like there's this internal clock in your head that's like, I need to kind of like force something in this spot to allow us to win this game. This blaster. And your teammate loses the fight after. Oof. So yeah, this is like a spot where they have to look for kind of desperate plays. Dude, this blaster is so good. Like most of these spots, which again, this is like stuck in their base kind of positioning, but like this kind of spot right here is somewhere that like Rentana feels very comfortable. But their Rapid Blaster's done such a great job of like sniffing all of this out. I mean, those pokes, huge. All right, this is our one opportunity. Do they try to position here? Yeah, they're probably gonna force a fight with this Inkjet. You jump out here? Ooh. They did stall for a while. Yeah, they found their one play. I thought they did a decent job. I don't know if they'll be able to win the match off of it, but this is a much better situation than on average they'd probably be able to find themselves in. Right. Interesting. So they're able to win that match. Oh, what rank? I always like to see what rank they're. And this is like a couple weeks ago, so I just like they played so much Rainmaker and Clan Blitz, like I couldn't find a proper zones rotation. It was like 2-week-old stream. So I think this is like into season maybe? Or maybe it's like early season. I don't know. Anyways, what are these comps? There's so much backline, triple backline on both teams. So this is the most mince-me zones solo queue game comps of all time. That was so funny. Yeah, they're just waiting this out and then they're gonna punish the jump, I'm guessing. Oh. Good looks though. Again, just like small things. Whenever they're but like they go for the punish on this jump in, and then after that punish, they're immediately behind this cover right here. It was really good, like, just a general awareness from their perspective of always being in a position to be able to survive, but again, against S-Blast and stuff, you're kind of cooked against the blaster when you're stuck in one cover. Yeah. Able to take the side area. Try to get some quick pressure on the far left side, but unfortunately teammates go down. Yeah, you can't really force a play on this left side, so you're stuck on the right side. And I guess I don't know if they needed to jump out there, but maybe they thought that their teammates needed assistance. Let's play. That's so funny. That's so funny. We run out of ink here. So that was like a good pick. I just think it's fascinating. Like playing on Great against Expo is really good because they have to direct you in order, like they don't get the splash damage around you that they would normally get. They have to direct you to do damage. But I think it's so fascinating here where like the Expos like run out of ink, but we're still focused in on the S-Blast, which makes sense. Like from my perspective, my first thought would be like, oh, this person's damaged. Like let's just find this pick. But they wait this person out because they are like, this is their best opportunity to find the pick. I think from Rentana side, it's like, you know, maybe this person gets one more expo shot out while I wait for this pick, but they don't have, like, if they had more ink, I think they just clean this up and they have plenty of time to queue up. Because when you're playing Slosher, if the enemy team's jumping in, the second that you see this bar go down a little bit because the person's like, you know how like slowly like goes down as they're jumping in, the second that you visually see this go down, Sloshers will queue up a shot in the air, and then they'll shoot one so they'll arc one and then they'll shoot one vertically. And if you time it right, both of those will hit at the same time. So you can effectively one-shot someone when they're jumping in these spots. But it's just interesting that I would have just gotten the pick against the Expo and then ran away from the S-Blast. But the Expo is not really a threat right now, so it's better to focus on this S-Blast. So yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, they don't have a lot of pain right here, so I'm interested to see. Okay, they just back out altogether. So this is one of those spots where it's like, I would start thinking from my perspective of like, you know, oh, I need to like get a bunch of pain over here so I can find somewhere to shark. Like there isn't enough spots to be able to shark very well, and against a comp that has like Explo and S-Blast and stuff, like you're not, and also like the pin can like paint from high ground coming out of spawn. Like you're not really going to be able to get away with the current paint conditions, like to shark somewhere. Or it's like a lot more of a gamble, I would say. But they're willing to play it a little bit slower here. Like they still keep the aggression. But yeah, like I don't know, it's just like really good discipline. Like this is still all aggro focused, but it's like it's really good discipline. Where like, you know, in this spot, the main thing that like I wasn't looking at the time is like we're really close to our special. So like while we would love to shark here, we don't have enough paint to be able to do it, and like we as a slosher can't really like make that happen. But we see that we're close to special. We might also be paying attention to the fact that our teammate has inkjet, and we can like make a play around those specials. We can get our space. Like we can't really get our space and shark and be annoying with the current paint situation. But when we have an active inkjet in the air and we have our tri-strikes out, we can probably look to push a little bit more. So, you know, they're covering and masking the area that they want to get into. And, you know, they focus on the person that's playing on the sledge right here. So really good awareness. The other thing that's nice about them like swimming left over here and kind of going wide is that they're the only person that's over on this far left going up the grate this way. Their teammates are all fighting on like the other side of the map. So that forces the enemy team, you know, this person on this ledge is like, oh, do I focus my attention here? Or do I focus my attention on this inkjet? And they can't look at both places at the same time, so it puts them in a very, very difficult spot, the enemy team. I'm just able to find their picks. Able to pick up cooler, which is nice. Yeah, just jump out. Okay. And you'll notice a lot of times when they're like Because I mentioned in the last review, like a lot of like comfort spots and stuff. Where do players like to generally play? You know, getting into this area over here is really nice because it gives them the opportunity to, you know, throw these bombs to deny the enemy, like make it difficult for the enemy team to get onto this area. You also have your escape routes, many different areas. And, you know, if you do find a pick, if you do find an advantage, or, you know, in this game, if your teammates are inkjetting in the skies, you have very easy access to be able to kind of clean that stuff up. So a lot of times I really like we saw earlier on that Rentana was playing over here. And when you play over here, when you like slosh and stuff over top, you can hit the person that's sharking in this spot here. It's probably not the best color. But when they're sloshing over, they can slosh the backline that's usually sitting in the spot behind this little block right here. So I like this right spot, but I think earlier on in the game, they just like, these comps are so weird that you kind of have to adjust. And I feel like maybe they just feel a lot more value being able to sit in this kind of position and just kind of get those bombs out. I just like, look at this movement. It's so, like, it's so simple, but it's just so good. Yeah, this is that shark spot I was talking about before. Like, they obviously know that Rentana's there, so like they're not using it for that purpose now. But you can like dangle in squid form like they are, like all the way here. And sometimes that can actually count as a shark because you're like, it's elevated down. And if you're not looking for it when you're coming out of spawn, it's easy to miss. But yeah, like just look at how well they use this cover here. It's just like so good. You know, this is that right peeking. This is like kind of a tough spot, but you know, they can cover like with this area here. They can cover a lot of their body around this area. You don't have a lot of space, which is why this is like, again, a little bit more of an awkward spot, but you can mask a lot of your body and have it behind cover while you like, because you're sloshing off the right hand side. Like if this is your body, your squiddling body, like your slosh is coming out over here. So this is like that whole right hand peek, right hand advantage kind of ordeal. And this is like a really good example, kind of what I was talking about before we started watching the VODs, of them being able to find that opportunity. Which it allows them to poke a lot, and even though they have potentially 3 people on the enemy team looking at them, because they barely have their body peeking out, and they're able to like constantly kind of dance around and jump around between these areas, the enemy team has a hard time being able to like actually hit them. So it's just like, it is good awareness. And again, you notice that like they only go for the shots when they have that right hand advantage, because this is like a very hot spot. There's too much heat in this area, and like you'll notice that like they're not ever looking for shots like peeking out this way, because in order for them to peek like left hand side right here, they have to swing their entire body over. Because this is your little stick figure inkling person. And like you have to shoot from like this right side over here. So when you're on when you're peeking from the left side, you have to swing all the way out, so because you're like right-handed basically when you're shooting, versus when we're playing on the right side, we don't have to expose very much of our body. So like we would probably get melted if we tried to peek left side and shoot here. So you'll notice that as they're jumping through back and forth, they only shoot on the right side. Very interesting thing to note. And again, playing good ledges, drop off. Always have the option to jump back if they need to, but are able to survive. And yeah, this is a bad spot. This is a spot depending on, because I've been in this position a lot as like a slosh. A slosh. Depending on the weapon that you're playing against, this isn't the worst spot in the world, because you can you have cover that you're working with, and like you have ledges that you can camp over here. So like this actually isn't that bad of a spot, but again, we have to deal with so much AoE sloshing capabilities and like range. Like we don't want to be here for very long. If it was like if it was short range shooters, or something like a stamper has no sloshing capability, it can ledge camp under a ledge, but it can't slosh over a ledge. So if there were different weapons, they could probably hold this position a little bit longer, but it's because of the weapons that they're playing against right now on the enemy team that like they have to just jump out. Because even if they find their one-on-one, where like I think it was probably the S-Blast that was pushing at them, even if they find that 1v1, like the second they start moving out of cover, like the 1v1 against S-Blast itself isn't too bad, but when you have to start moving out of cover, you just get punished by the rest of the backline. So really good awareness from Rentana, and then we drop out. Tag them once, and that person jumps out. Yeah. Just pushing across top. You'll notice with this game, I think this is something, this is more like solo queue focused, because like these comps you'll never see in an actual game. Like triple backline is kind of crazy, but you'll notice in this game, Rentana just like basically only pushes forward and like commits to fights when one of their two inkjet users has inkjet and it's active. And I would probably get picked in a lot of scenarios because I would try to force at bad times. So it's just really interesting. Pencil's lost. They could have pushed it. I don't know. I guess enemy team, maybe they don't want to get stuck in the middle of the fight when the enemy team's coming in. I'm assuming they're using those strikes to be able to push bottom left. Oh, yeah, it's so tough. That's why it's so tough. If you're not fighting with inkjet, like this is a good spot. Again, normally this is pretty good. You mask this area out, and then you just push through and you get underneath. There's like a common flow that they get into. But against the enemy team comp, like they're gonna shut you down so often. That was really tough. Oh, sorry. Sometimes my cursor gets like frozen. I'm not sure why. Like on the screen. Yeah. Yeah, this path is like so common. Like this is something where like I've seen them go for this play like 3 or 4 times. So like this is something that I need to like harden into memory. Where like they route here, go over here, and they play across middle. And they're only going for this play when like their teammate has special, and that there's some other distraction that's going on. But a lot of times I would be kind of baited into playing like far right side instead of just going with your team. Yeah, enemy team's gonna want to push with the Booyah Bomb, so we denied that by throwing strikes at that time. Pretty good damage. Yeah, enemy team's getting kind of desperate, so you can start looking for those opportunities. So yeah, this is kind of, so far it's been a rough rotation for Rentana to be able to like do things. Again, we're playing against these games. These games look a lot different. Playing in zones against the weapons that we have to play against compared to almost how free a lot of the Rainmaker Clan Blitz matches were that I was watching last night. Because they have so much room to maneuver, but there's so much AoE, there's so much long range. It's really difficult for Rentana to find opportunities. Tough. Oh, get directed, feels bad. That's tough. Again, against like single backline, this is not as much of an issue, but like, yeah, we're getting targeted by 2 people. Because like you notice they come out of spawn. Like right now, I'd be like really focused on getting a bunch of paint. I'd probably paint for another special here. Because it's like there's nowhere to go right now. But for Rentana's POV, like they kind of like force a little bit into mid, which I think in most cases is probably the correct play, but it's really difficult against backline. Like these comps just make it very difficult to find yourself playing aggressive spots. Another thing you'll notice from them is like, even if they get a random pick on or like a random tap shot and do a little bit of damage to someone, they're not like, they don't overexert themselves onto any one particular play. Yeah, they're understandably probably getting a little bit frustrated in this situation. Just swing it this way. That's funny. They do take lead though. Yeah, and again, like this whole workflow over here, this is another thing that I would kind of note about how they play. Is like they find themselves in the same exact scenario here where they're like dancing around these blocks. They don't poke around the left side, which is interesting. Makes sense, but interesting. And like, yeah, this whole little like route to go, you know, through mid up here to get on the back part of this area is very common of like where they would like to be. And then hopefully they can get like a special or something from their team to be able to push it. And even when like, you know, the enemy team's setting up for something, you notice as enemy team starts stepping up, like it's kind of a not great spot for the team, like our team as a whole, because the enemy team's about to strike, you know, they're moving forward, they can start fighting for this area. But you see Rentana in this spot, like, because the enemy team knows they can move forward and they're going to push a special and retake zone, we kind of like undermine that plan by moving forward and getting into this position as they're as the enemy team's moving forward. Which in the last game, this area was constantly getting stuffed by the Explo shots. But, you know, fortunately, we're not playing against Explo. Their ballpoint is coming out of Inkjet and S-Blast. They could throw splash bombs here, but they don't have as much range as something like Rapid Blaster that stuffs these kinds of plays that we saw in that one Mako Mark game. Or not Mako, Museum. So, really good awareness on their part. Again, they don't find the pick, and they just need to stay alive. Teammates are painting for us, which feels good. Yeah, they love this route. It feels like everyone in this game is so like tilted. It's so funny. I don't know if they know each other or not, but it's kind of funny either way. Really nice picks. Finally able to find their one opportunity. Now they're threatening KO. Like I said, it's always like 25, 30 points the enemy team needs for a setup, and that's about as many points as we have to KO. So we're in, enemy team has to panic a little bit to be able to KO, and we might be able to find picks. That pick hopefully should be enough. Yeah, those two picks should be enough to KO. Unless our team drastically kind of messes up this defense. Yeah, it should be knock game. This decision making just so sick. These are the plays I would just never go for. Like 2 teammates down right here. Like I'm not looking for something here. This is the difference between a GOAT like Rentana and a pleb like myself. It's such a smart play from Rentana in this situation. Like the awareness here is just like so good. So I just want to go through like how they play this. So they have Cooler, which also gives them the flexibility to go for a play here. They throw this bomb in slosh to hopefully, you know, maybe do 70 damage and then chip out the remainder with the bomb. But they move forward. When do they see the strikes come out? I don't know. Maybe it's a visual cue. Because you can notice that like they pop strikes, but it's like it's almost too smooth here. But maybe they took the visual cue and they just like pushed up here. Because if Slosh is striking in this situation, then Slosh isn't able to fight. So this is just really good, like using their timings against them. We know the enemy team wants to fight. Someone like Slosh 2 down, they feel comfortable striking pretty, out in the open, for lack of a better term. And we're able to like shut it down really fast. Just sick. And they use that paint from fighting to like be able to move forward. Like they use this sloshing that they get in front of them to paint them a path to sit behind this cover. Why is this cover important? Because it limits the angles that this pencil has to be able to hit us. They might be able to hit us depending on where they're positioned, but like it's a lot more difficult. Yeah, again, we jump out to find that pick and then we get back into cover here. Tap them once, don't overly focus because we still got that pencil behind us, so we got to kind of keep track of both. But enemy team, our teammates are there to help with the enemy. And we're able to get back into our comfy spot. Yeah, so it's like a lot of this stuff's just very routine. Where it's like, push up if we can, don't have the opportunity, we back up. If we're close to our special, we back up. We sit here until we find the right time to like pull the trigger. Strike out this area, use that screen from the strikes to be able to push up this way. This is just like, again, these cycles, these patterns that we notice when we're watching them play. They also have a teammate on their plat that allows them to move up a little bit easier. Unfortunately, get pre-fired through the strikes, but in most cases you'll be fine there. Can be a little bit more aggressive because we have inkjet going on, so you'll notice that they're like going for these very aggressive plays underneath the enemy ledge because our teammates were inkjetting above us. And at this point, they can go for these plays because like we're close to KO. The enemy team has to poke past these ledges in order to be able to retake the zone. So they don't have time to fight us because if someone dropped and started fighting us, like they probably don't have enough time to be able to like cap the zone after. So, really good awareness. And as frustrating as some of these comps are to deal with, like we're doing a pretty good job of handling the scenarios, truth be told. Bro messed up his jump. Feels bad. Obviously, he was trying to go over here. So he really likes his flank on the right side. Maybe I need to test that a little bit more. I don't think it's bad, but it's just like, I don't know. Seems like something that he goes for often. I don't think it'll be as, like, against this comp, this is like the first comp that we've seen basically today where like they have Rapid Blast, but they don't really have like 1, 2, 3 back lines. So this game to me makes a lot more sense in turn. Like I can rationalize why they would want to go for this play, but in general, it just seems like they're going for it more often than not. Yeah, they just missed that jump. Oh my god, they did 70 to 3 people. It's just really good awareness, though. In these kinds of situations, it's just like really, really, really good awareness in terms of knowing if you can, like having this escape route. Like I didn't know this was a jump. Obviously, they get splatted, but knowing that you can jump from there to there is like, that could save their life in these types of situations. So again, just really interesting. I wonder, hold on, let me, alright, I just keep seeing the mouse get frozen on this, and capture curse. This. Alright, let's try that. Hopefully that prevents the mouse from getting stuck, because it should show up if I'm epic pinning, but yeah, it shouldn't show up when I'm on there. So hopefully that gets rid of the phantom mouse. I just got really annoyed at it, and I think that should fix it. Yeah. It's been really interesting to see how annoying Rapid Blaster can be. Also really like from our teammates' perspective, like a lot of times people don't like playing this back area here and retaking from this spot, but it's really good awareness. The enemy team has such positioning on our plot that if we all drop through the middle here, we have a tough time taking this fight. So I like that they have people that are playing this far side and are able to find these angles. Like, it takes more time, but I'd rather have a good situation than just be stuck and have to take bad fights. Yeah, probably. Wow, that's a crazy shot. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me in this spot. Like, there's like this timing where, like right here, the blaster shoots, and then they're backing up. And we have a bunch of paint from our perspective to be able to like swim through here, climb over this ledge, and like look to take this fight. So it makes sense to me that they're trying to chase down the blaster here. Unfortunately, as they start getting there, they see someone in mid. They see this shot. They kind of have to like, you know, a really nice flick from their perspective. They find this pick, but finding that pick gets them stuffed by the blaster. You know, that backs them up enough to be able to retake the zone. So overall, it's like a fine play to make. But, you know, they're noticing how much of a pain this blaster is. And like, it looks like that so far kind of seems to be their priority when they have open space in middle to be able to kind of maneuver. Oh, this is such a weird spot. These matches are so harsh. Yeah, again, one of those scenarios we're down by so much, like we kind of need to find picks so that we can, you know, be able to have an opportunity to win the game. There's still a lot of time, so there's not a lot of pressure for us to do it now. But whenever we get them wiped and stuff, we need to like look for plays. So I guess it's our teammate that's. I think part of it is that we get. I think they want to go for an aggressive play here. Their teammates are pinging this way because they're getting ledge camped on our plot. So it makes sense that like they want some assistance. I think if we don't get marked by the pin or the line marker here, we probably don't drop out and like go for this. Like we don't rotate all the way back in mid to find this play, but I guess in this spot you have to back out, and if you're gonna back out in the mid, then you might as well like take this fight. So good awareness, listening to our teammates. Should be able to retake zone. They would like to move forward with their strikes, but unfortunately the bubble kind of stuffs us a little bit. But decent fight opportunity here. Yeah, I was gonna say they probably want to force us play a little bit more because, like, again, they have an inkjet out right now, so like this is like the best chance that they have to be able to win this fight. Fortunately, their inkjet pops off, and yeah, this is like those common shark spots. Like in this spot, I would want to like my support brain is like I want to like paint over this ledge. I want to, you know, throw bombs up here, and you know, start pressuring this right side. But if the enemy blaster overextends, like we have high ground, then we can potentially punish. So I think they're, from my perspective, this game, they really notice that this rapid blaster is a big problem. And if they have the opportunity to push in and find a pick, like they're gonna go and do it. Oof. Teammates trade down. I have to be careful about Zuka coming out of spawn, but should be able to move. There's one behind us. Oh, the 180. Let's go. That's sick. Alright, just junior left, so you can do whatever. I probably would have ignored that, but I don't know. Maybe they're scared if they ignore it though. Like someone could, like maybe the Expo or something, or not the Expo, the Mint is like able to drop on the, like it prevents them from getting any jumps if you push it. That's a huge pick. That should win them the game right there, honestly. Yeah, against enemy team's weapons, like right here is like a terrible, like the second that they get a pick on the blaster, outside of bombs, there's nothing else that the enemy team is able to do to like stop us in this spot. You do notice that like in this position, go a different color. They're not playing like super close to the wall. Reason for that, I think there's two reasons. One, you get better visibility, like being farther back, like you can see what's happening on this plat a little bit more. So it increases your visibility. The other thing is that they have decav, and decav can definitely drop off these ledges and potentially find the pick. So we get a little bit of a buffer. Like we can probably get one shot. If the decav knows where we're at, they can one shot us from this distance as well if they like dash off the ledge, but I think it's a good position. And with all the paint right now, like we're kind of chilling. Yeah, enemy team's getting a little bit aggressive. Oh, it's tough. Really good awareness though, like, because I was thinking it and then they like did it. But like as they go for this jump, a lot of times people may want to go for the jump like from here because they're already here and everything, and they just slosh from this spot. But they actually take the time to get inside the bubble to make sure that the bubble, because if they're playing outside the bubble, there's a chance that this person like drops into the bubble and then we can't take the fight anymore. And you know, sometimes we might hit the shield and it's just like, I don't know. We take out the complexity by just like moving inside of the bubble and fighting in the bubble, so that even if they're inside or outside the bubble, we still get to hit those shots. Nice attention to detail. They go for the bomb flick, but unfortunately wasn't able to win them anything. You know, this situation, they have plenty of time to retake, and there's not a lot of time left, so I wouldn't be surprised if they play a little bit slower to get themselves specials. Oh my god. Okay. We just get the pop off. Kind of just again like little notes of their positioning of when the person's jumping in. Those are just really nice shots. Like as they're moving in, they're moving around and repositioning when that person lands. Because as the junior lands, they're gonna be able to like get a better visual of what's underneath them when they're landing. So if we keep moving, it's harder for them to predict where they need to fire or where they need to throw a bomb or something. So they make it a lot harder for the enemy team to trade in those spots by playing that role. Yeah, fair trade. Alright, so they're at a spot where they have enough time that they should be able to hold their... I'd probably jump out here. See how they play. Oh, and team ink chat, so yeah, I guess we can play a little bit more aggressive. If we didn't have ink chat, I probably would have jumped out. Because we have our strikes, we just need to get our strikes down. Ooh, our team's dying. We do not have a lot of time. We probably have enough time for that pick, but yeah, we need to... Oh! We might have just choked. Oh, that feels so bad. So yeah, this is why I would have... in this spot here, 2 teammates down, I understand going for this play with the ink chat. It probably is the correct play. But I would feel way more comfortable jumping out here because I'm looking at penalty and I'm like, if this play goes bad, we have a really difficult time being able to like actually, like we have to force a play really fast. You know, it almost works out. They get their pick, but unfortunately the rapid blaster takes out the ink jet. But like as we jump back to our teammates end up going down. Like this death right here is really bad for us. Enemy teams on our plot. It's just like I don't know. It's a difficult spot. I don't think any decision makes this play like free, but this is part of the risk. But yeah, that first bomb hitting the top of the pillow kind of loses them the match there. Any chance that they had of potentially winning it, but that was a really good game. I think it was a good adaptation. The first half of that game, they were getting stuffed by the blaster continuously, and I think throughout the course of that match, they did a much better job of trying to target that blaster specifically.
Alright,
what play are they going for here? Do they like commit harder? Okay, that they do. Oh, that's to say, how did I was wondering what splatted them. I guess the roller just very, very laggy. Tough. I play for strikes here. They're so good. These spots here, like, I don't know how to explain it. I think they just have like a good ability to like, they can judge like how fast people are able to get to certain spots of the map in this spot. Because like their fall off shots on the roller is just like so impressive. I would not take that fight at all because I just have no confidence that I can hit any of those. The fact they were able to hit 2 shots in that scenario is impressive. Yeah, they get a little bit stuck here, but they're able to survive. That's really lucky. Fortunately, team's doing well, so helps. They jump in, pick cooler, and then they jump back to their teammates on plot. Or no, they didn't pick up cooler. They already had the cooler. I lied. But this is a good, like, this is a good thing to note. I think sometimes people forget is like, so this is what I call like, a call out that I'll say a lot when I'm playing with my team is like, the enemy team crossed, or we need to cross. That cross that's happening is going from middle to their plat. That's called like the cross. You know, you're crossing over into their side of the map. And this is a very pivotal point because a lot of times these crossing over from one part of the map to the other, you usually have to go through a very tiny choke point. Like you can only get onto the enemy team's plat through the spinner in mid. So the enemy team only has to look in one spot to see if you're crossing over. Once you cross, once you get through this little funnel right here, like the whole map opens up to where you can, you know, you can play this however you want to. But until you get through this cross area, it's really difficult. So that's why, like, it's really important to take this space when you wipe out the enemy team. Or, like, you know, most of them go down and they can't defend this choke point right here. It's really important for you to be able to push through it. Because if you wait too long, then you're going to struggle. So really good awareness from Rentana's side that, like, even though they're in mid right now, they can jump to their teammate that already made it through that choke point and avoid having to make that jump themselves. Because if they go for the jump now, they have to deal with pin, they have to deal with S-Blast, you know, roller might be curling bombing in and one-shots us. So it's just really good identification that, like, we can avoid having to go through that choke point ourselves by going for that jump. And sometimes you can catch the enemy team off guard because usually those choke points are pretty high visibility for the enemy team coming out of spawn. And if you jump in, especially jumping in to a teammate behind cover, they may not know that you're going to be in that situation. And instead of being like, oh, we just need to fight one person that crossed through, now it's okay, we have to fight multiple people that cross through. Unfortunate, but I love the patience here. I just would not play like this. Like, they take some time to get ink. Like, they throw the bomb. Unfortunately, they're not able to get, like, into a spot to get more ink. Like, right now, they're refueling to hopefully be able to, you know, take this fight. And they just kind of get chipped out, but I love the patience when taking that fight. Even though it's a really awkward position in the moment, the fight against the roller specifically, like, honestly isn't too bad. But unfortunately, we throw that bomb, and we probably would have liked to have it back. But I think they were expecting to be able to get some ink in that position. Yeah, wow, we were able to jump out. That's impressive. Okay, enemy team just jumped. Yeah, it looks like they jumped into the bubble. Huge picks. This should be a pretty routine retake at this point. It's got a little bit dicey, but being able to jump out and get back to your team was really nice. And just those like little timings of like, I need to cross. So this is a common scenario where like our team needs to cross right here. And unfortunately, like at this point, by the time that they're like, okay, now I threw my strikes, now I can cross. Not only did their teammate go down, but they don't have the masking and the visual noise of the strikes themselves. To be able to cross for free. You know, Pencil's looking at them, so in this position, like they can't, they could maybe go for this cross over here, but it's still really awkward for them. So they play a little bit patient here. As they're waiting, they have really great visibility of the plat. They see people moving in a little bit this way. But, you know, if this person starts shooting over here, eventually they're going to have to, like, charge back up for more shots. So they use that as the timing, and they're also able to time it when our teammate pops the hammer. And it gives us a little bit of paint in this spot. So really good, has really good awareness from our Stamper to throw not just this hammer, but also the Fizzy Bomb right here. Throwing this to help us, like, if we were taking an immediate fight, if there was someone that was playing really close here, then they would potentially find the pick or do a ton of chip. So that we only have to hit them once as a slosher instead of having to hit them twice. That was really good awareness from our Luna in this position. But that, even though they don't do any chip damage, they provide so much paint for us to be able to move around. And a lot of this play gets set up because of our Luna Blaster, so that's super, super good awareness from the Luna player. Now we shark. We have to shark in this spot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's reasonable trade.
Nice.
So yeah, they should be pretty good here. Yeah, it's just game. Cool. What are they? 29, let's go. Alright, this is more like, this is a pretty, we've had so many games on this map where we've dealt with like a million backline and stuff. This is a pretty reasonable comp on both teams. This is like somewhat a comp that could exist. So we'll see how they play this at the beginning. They get bombs around mid. Like, a lot of times, this is just like a common thing. But, like, you want to get a bomb here, like this little pillar. Like this pillar right here. You kind of want to get a bomb, like, on the backside of this. So here we choose to, like, throw the bomb so that it gets behind this area. You'll notice that with both of their bombs, and they use those bombs to, like, be able to push. Because a lot of times, you know, both teams want to get to their surface of the back part of mid. It's very awkward, like, it's a little bit scary and tough to fight into to get this position. But once you're here, you have so many options. Like, once you're on this wall, you can attack up top, you can attack their truck. You know, if anyone tries to push through mid, you have the drop on them. So you get really good visibility and you can kind of catch the enemy team off guard. So it's like high priority to be able to take mid. This is like this little barrier, or like the little pole in mid that is inkable. It's similar, but obviously way tinier and way more dangerous than the pole, or I guess the giant structure in the middle of a map like Scorch Gorge in zones, where, you know, at the beginning of the match and just throughout the match, like both teams want to control that giant structure that you can climb up on in middle. But yeah, like there's a lot of parallels between the two. It's just a lot more difficult here because like a weapon like an S-Blast can AoE us anywhere on the wall. But if you're playing on Scorch, like you have way more room to where they can't just AoE you by shooting at the pole generally. They have to know your full location in a map like Scorch. Yeah, they hit them once, so they want to go for an aggressive play there. That makes sense to me. I'll be interested to see how they play this. I wouldn't be surprised if they would have like played this far right side over here, and that's what I would have kind of leaned to. you know, maybe the enemy team like sets up for a crab or something, but we decided to take it slower. We do have our special. So yeah, maybe there's an opportunity because the enemy team's down for us to just push. And they prioritize this spot here like a ton. So really good to keep track of. I don't think they're gonna be able to push with this because the timings just don't line up. Really good sharking here. Like this is the kind of sharking that I saw when I was watching them play Rainmaker and Clan Blitz all the time. Like right now they have so much room to maneuver. They don't have to worry about like 2 Explos shooting at them. You know, like there's a lot more ability to just shark and wait out opportunities. And this is a spot where I would be inclined myself to like want to paint or throw bombs and be more proactive on their plat. But you can get the same effect by just kind of like sharking here and just be a threat. Like this is a very routine pick 99% of the time. Unfortunately, they missed that first slosh. But if they hit the first slosh, like this is just a free pick and it's like huge. And then you can start like closing in on this right side, or you can jump back to your teammates and play off the truck. But your team sets up a huge play with this pick, so good on them not to over extend on that play, but if they hit their shots, that would have been pretty routine. Poking over a ledge. I can never tell if I think they did hit the person in the crab there, but sometimes it's hard to tell. Just like so. That movement and everything is just so good. Just like knowing, getting past this ledge right here to be able to hit the person behind the wall. Like we're able to find good angles without really like putting ourselves in spots where we might potentially get picked. We find the trade. A little sloppy on our end, but we find the pick. Oops. That should be game here. Yeah, cool. Alright, let's speed run through these games. So I kind of got a feel for both of these maps of like kind of how he's playing. Really interesting. This is like a tiny adaptation, but this is the first time that I noticed when they drop out here, they're so like attention to detail. As they're dropping behind this cover because they don't want to potentially die to the random E-leader shot. So this might have been something they were doing in the other games, but you can kind of just tell from like how they have their camera and stuff and how they're positioning that they just want to make sure that they don't get picked as they drop. Because a lot of times they would be more like leaning this way and moving this way, and it might leave an angle for them to get sniped. So interesting adaptation against a charger. This is an awkward spot. Yeah, they haven't gotten a ton of value out of this this right flank at the beginning, but it's like a consistent play for them. So I'm kind of like, again, I don't think it's a bad play, but it's interesting that they prioritize it so much, and we just haven't seen a ton of value yet. But it does open up the map for the rest of your team. So like there's a lot of indirect benefits to going for those plays. Yeah. Can't afford to go for the cross here because of the charger. Again, this is like exactly the situation where like this is why getting the cross is so important. Like we can't go for this because charger's in a spot where they just like find a free pick because they know that we have to jump off this area. We kind of have to give it up for now. Team's not really going to be able to push off of this, so yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. Would have been a crazy pick. I was going to say, we have to be a little bit careful. Nice trade. Like, at a certain point, like right now, we know the junior's above us. And maybe they backed up in the mid, but I'm surprised they didn't open up their mini-map. Because like right here, I would either like open my mini-map and see if junior painted that top left area again, or like something. Like they kind of, I don't know, like there's been so long and they haven't checked for the junior. And the junior just jumps on us. Fortunately, we're goated with our mechanics and we're able to find the pick, but... Yeah. So where was the... Okay, so there's 3 down. Where's the leader in this spot? Because we just go for the cross, but... Maybe it's because we have our S-Blaster. I think we feel... Because the E-leader's been alive this entire time. I think we feel comfortable going for this cross here because our S-Blast is... Like, we can kind of expect them to watch this ledge right here. And, like, where the leader was before, around this little, like, pillow... They can cover both of those angles with their AoE and like burst bombs and stuff. So I think we can take a calculated risk here to like go for the cross because of our S-Blast. Enemy team doesn't know where we're at, but again, like you'll notice with this shark, like they could have potentially like they could have navigated this way, but I don't know. Again, they get really good visibility from this spot to see all of these different areas, and we're fully covered. Like if we move this way, we'd be out in the open, and there's a potential that we get like picked in this spot. So they play it really, really slow. And hopefully the longer that you hold this, eventually the enemy team either just never knew you were there or kind of just thought you may have dropped or been somewhere else if they had any inkling that you might have been there. Yeah. Still has to play a little bit around the E-leader here. Now they're sitting in the spot. It's really good. Just like I love this awareness from Rentana. Like they could go back. A lot of people would probably drop back, pick up their cooler, drop back, run and take this fight over here. Like I think a lot of people would be really tempted to go back into mid because there's so much perceived value there. But we know from our perspective, like we need to deal with this E-leader. And if we drop into mid and we like rotate over here to find this fight, A, we're giving up the plat for free, and B, like leader might find a pick on us in the meantime. So I love that we're sitting on top of their plat. You know, at a certain point, we have to be like, okay, leader is going to be getting it back into position. We have to be worried about it. And they're able to kind of like move over here because, you know, a lot of times leader will play in this spot and we anticipate them here, or maybe they swim out here and they're playing around this pillow. So we get to cover both of those options with this next kind of play that we go for. So we're a little bit noisy here, but because we don't actually see them anywhere, like there's a good chance that they didn't know that we were coming. And again, we see leader here, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is such an important pick and such an important decision-making process for them to be able to close out this match. Because 64 points, like that's plenty of time for the enemy team to set up for a retake and stuff, but being able, already on their plat, finding a pick on their backline, especially when your team is all still alive and everything, like this is the making. The enemy team still has one more retake in them, but this is the way you close out a match. It's the awareness here where, you know, oh, you know, I could, you know, a team's probably going to need help with bubble. I see a player right here that I can drop and take fights with. Oh, there's a cooler in mid. Like there's so many like tempting things to be able to drop in mid and feel like you made a good play. And I don't think it's a bad play necessarily if you did go for those plays. But the important thing here is like, you know, we need to deal with this leader. This leader is a problem for our backline, for our entire team. Like leader's just a problem. So if I'm already crossed this area, which is already a difficult task because of the leader, I need to use this prime positioning that I'm in right now to try to find a pick on the leader. You know, they do the best they can. They strike. They, you know, keep the zone painted. They throw the bomb, but they use the rest of this time to look, you know, look through this little gap here, try to find where that leader's going to push out of. They could be all the way, like, there's a chance they could be all the way back there, but that'd be a crazy positioning from leader, unless they suspected this flank. So, it's just like it's such an important play.
Nice.
You know, because we get to pick on the leader, 3 of our teammates get to cross, which leaves us a little bit potentially, like, because 3 of us cross here and there's 3 on their plat right now, it leaves us a little bit open to like a left flank, and our pencil has to deal with that by themselves. So I think this is a good adaptation from our perspective of like, we have 2 teammates on plat. Like, it's okay for me to like kind of drop. I can respond to any kind of like flank opportunity. I can also camp these ledges, and I can also camp this like plat ledge right here if I need to. So we get to do generally the same thing. And if we ever want to get back on the plat, we have the opportunity to super jump to our teammates. But it's just really good awareness. We get great information. We see our teammate gets a pick and our teammate starts moving in, so we focus on that. Again, like I said, we always have the opportunity to jump back to our team. A little bit greedy, but we shouldn't throw this game. Yeah. Really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna speed around most of this because, like I said, like that's the nice thing about watching like a rotation in solo queue is that they're playing the same 2 maps, so you get to see so much repetition. You start to really get an understanding of like when of how they play these maps. We got stuck. Okay, what happens here? Yeah. So it was really good positioning from their crab to get into that area. That's good on us. Like, in this moment, it's so hard for us to be able to, like, you know, once they get the crab up here, we're kind of cooked. But we do get to stay alive a little bit longer because we get to use this wall as cover. So just making the most out of this very uncomfortable position. Finding that trade is really, really important. Our team can actually fight the splash and push them away after the crab. Uh-oh. They fought a little bit too early. Yeah, how do we even push out of here? That's tough. Okay. Well, strikes are really interesting. I want to see if we are able to retake here. Yeah, probably not going to be able to. So, I like this strike. Like, we get the crab top left. I like the strikes here because the enemy team could potentially be sharking on our plat. And these strikes allow us to get onto our plat without having to waste a ton of time trying to find the sharks. You know, someone can make the point, and I think it's totally valid. Like, you know, we could play up here, or maybe we could like fight to take our plat back without the strike so that we can strike the zone. And I think that's very, very, very fair. But, you know, if our teammate doesn't go down in the crab, we probably retake anyways. Because we're able to get 3 people on our plat safely with those strikes. Also with the crab, but I think if the crab user didn't go down to, you know, I don't know what it was, maybe the bucket or something, like those strikes would have been fine because we just push as a team and we retake the zone very, very quickly. Good. We finding a match? Hello? Matchmaking? How do they keep missing this jump? That's so funny. Yeah, get hit by charger. That's tough. Yeah, it's just really good awareness. This is something that I actually do a decent amount, but like we're leading in as we're dropping in because there's a world where like you could just paint this area from high ground and you'd be pretty safe. But the problem with that is that it takes a long time and it like puts a lot of visibility on you. Even if the person that's sharking over here knows that you're coming, which they have a hard time deducing that on their own because you're on high ground, so they don't have good visibility. But even if they knew you were coming, like the fact that we play this fast is kind of a benefit to us. But because we're playing it fast, we don't have time to paint all this. So what's the next best step? We guess where like we want to throw a bomb. So you could throw a bomb around this side of the pole or this side. This right side makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, we throw the bomb here and we like kind of like drop off this wide side. And we can react to that information as the bomb goes off. Because if there's someone sharking in the spot and they're in that bomb's vicinity, like they have to like move. And as they start moving, like we get that information and we get to figure out what to do next. And they're able to find a pick on that person. Super good awareness. Okay, so here, that's so interesting. Oh, you know what? It's because the. So yeah, this is really interesting here. I don't know if it'd actually be possible. So they find this pick. The reason why they don't immediately, because my thought process is like we need to immediately take, go through that cross and get onto their plot before the enemy team comes back in. But the reason why we can't go for that play is because this person just spawned in. I don't think they actually had enough time to jump in, but there's a world where this Tetra jumps in here, and because no one else on our team is here to look for it, if they get in unnoticed, someone's gonna have to come back, and maybe multiple people have to come back for that jump in. So we check it really quick just to see, we're looking for the stealth jump here. That's why they like back up to where this pick is to check for stealth jump on the Tetra specifically. Yeah, they still end up with enough time to cross, but it does weaken it quite a bit. I think in this situation, it would have been really nice for someone else to go for it. And I think you probably trust whoever this person is to look for that jump. But it is good awareness to look for that. But our life is so much more difficult because we don't immediately take this cross. So this is a good example of like doing the support task when I was talking about like the speedometer of like, support versus aggro. Like the checking for jump ins is more like support themed. And that, because we went for that play, it wasted us time to get into a position over here. And because we get onto this cross late, not only do we not have as much paint, we have worse positioning. Enemy team has better positioning because they've had more time to come out of spawn because it took us so long. Instead of us crossing immediately and we get to see where the enemy team goes, because we're late to the cross and we're late to get onto their plot, now we're getting onto their plot late. The enemy team gets to see where we are going and gets to understand our timings instead of the opposite. So that's why playing fast and being really focused on those aggressive ideas is so important. And we probably don't get overwhelmed here had we been able to cross faster. But I understand why they did it. Because you don't want to deal with the mess of a Tetra just jumping in for free. That's tough. Nice, I got a pick on the Tetra. Yeah, I think this is another thing that they do a really good job of here that I feel like I struggle with a lot. So we hear the crab, and I just like us, like as we're jumping up, we kind of veer off to the right because we know that this crab is watching our plot. They're not looking for us, they're looking for the pencil that's on our plot right now. So we can take like a separate angle and like we can still take high ground and like push at this person and potentially find a pick. Because we can slosh over the crab and hit the actual character. So I love this awareness because a lot of times I would not go for this play. I would just respect the crab a little bit too much. Maybe I'd like shred at it from low ground. But we actually, because we go high ground and we like take a different angle. Because right now our pencil is like, over here. So the difference between them looking over here and looking right here is huge for like a crab because it takes time for them to like actually shift looking from point A to point B. And we use that time to be able to slosh at them enough to force them to drop off over here. So it's just really good understanding of like, they're not looking at us. So I'm going to just aggressively, like very aggressively take this fight. We can always drop off the ledge if they start looking at us and we don't get the pick in time, but it's just like, it's a faster way to like deal with that situation. That was an interesting cooler angle and an interesting cooler Answer, yes. So good. So yeah, this angle, especially where like with how the fan is configured right now, like the fan on their plot is angled this way. And the interesting thing, when it's angled at its maximum position over here, you can actually cross this far right side and you can get into their attic. This is only available because it's on like a cyclic timing. I don't know. I don't know how long it is. It might be like 12, 15 seconds or so for it to kind of rotate around their plot. But when the fan is configured at this exact angle, because getting up on this grate up here is generally good, but it's extra good in this spot because we can threaten the grate play, which is what we went for. But we can also threaten getting into their attic. Getting into attic against this comp is a little bit more difficult because of the E leader, and you know they have good fights for us. But you know, we get into this high ground, we find this other angle. We don't worry about the roller that's behind us because we're able to get that high value pick on the leader. Because we should be able to pan over this crowd. Oh, okay, our teammate went down. Never mind. But the pick on the leader is so important. Yeah. Fortunately, Rentana's like, hey, it's Shadowin. It's always funny to see random high level players pop up in these games. We've seen like Kuro. I think we saw I forgot Mickey or whoever, the EU player. And now we see Shadowin. It's always a cool thing about X rank. It's like you just get to see these players show up. Anyways, we're about halfway through the VOD. I'm gonna speed run it a little bit. I got the info that I needed out of it, but again, I just want to show the. I guess I don't really know this opening all that much. Maybe they just like being in this spot because they don't really commit to this far flank and they don't like commit to the ledge camp. But I think they just like being in this position. I think it's the threat that the enemy team has to deal with us more than going for like a high value play or a high value like risky pick or something. So that so far that's my conclusion. I could change it later on, but that's what I'm seeing because like they're not really committing to anything. But I think just being this nuisance where you can like you always have the threat of poking at their plot. You have the threat of like if anyone drops on the enemy team, we can play underneath the plot area that kind of bends this way. We can play underneath this area and find 1v1s where we don't have to worry about the people on the plot. So I think it's this perceived threat more than anything. I'm gonna kind of let this play. I'll pause it if I need if there's anything I want to talk about specifically, but I'm just gonna kind of talk through it, or I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna eat this little snack really quick. So I'm gonna mute my mic so you'll hear all the chewing and fun stuff.
びっくりした。また家紋星人が現れたかと思ったらお前だった。お前か。
So I guess they try to poke here because they see the blaster shot on their plot right now. So they know range blaster is going to push over to the side. I think that's what gets them to commit to this fight.
びっくりした。また家紋星人が現れたかと思ったらお前だった。かぶりすぎだろドリンク。
Wow.
多分左下にいるやろこれ。何これ真下どこにもいねえ。パブロ。ねえ。あ、ごめん。なんかハンコ2人いると分かんなくなるわ。全然今パブロ倒したつもりだったもん。直近まで。そらパブロだったわ。やばい。やべえ。
Dang, we had two different people there. I'll probably stop with this game, but I'm interested to see if we try to push with the blaster. Oh, this blaster is getting so good spots. Because like the blaster matchup's really interesting as Slosh, because if we take positions first, we're at a huge advantage. But if the blaster gets the position first, we're at a pretty big disadvantage, and it's a really annoying weapon to deal with. So a lot of times when we play against Rapid Blaster, Range Blaster... Yo, what's up, Sankara? Welcome in, son. How you doing? So it's interesting to see if we try to bully the Range Blaster when we have the opportunity to do so. Because in this game it's the Range Blaster and it's the Charger. But yeah, we're just we're watching some VODs from Rentana, really good bucket player. Should be able to hold here, and then we get it's finally our chance to play. Yeah. And again, a really small thing to note, but like you notice like a little bit of extra movement. Who's a new team? Have a squad. We haven't like. I need to like what's it called? I need the like logo, all that stuff and everything. Like it's still very bare bones and from the marketing side, but our team is like a combination of like players that are new to comp, some like low level, like we're a combination of players that are like mid level, low level, brand new to comp, and like kind of everywhere in between. So we're definitely in our infancy and still a lot of learning and everything, but it's a fun opportunity. I'm really excited for it because I just like I don't know. There's so many like I think there's a lot of preconceived notions in the community itself, and I don't know. I just want to like try something new because I'm in a spot right now where like I want to be in the competitive community, but I like don't enjoy interacting with a lot of the competitive community. Like I don't. Hopefully that doesn't come off as bad because I think like people can kind of like if you understand what I'm saying, like you kind of like resonate with what I'm saying, but I just don't. It's not the people that are the problem. It's like the stigma and the culture and everything around certain things with the game. So, I wanted to come into playing comp again, not to be like, oh, I need to like pick up where I left off and I need to grind to, you know, consistent mid-level fight for +3 and everything. Like we'll get there, but I wanted a group of people that are very kind of open-minded to the process and open-minded to wanting to grind and learn and have those discussions and everything. So I think we'll be a little bit of a slow starter. Like for example, we'll be playing in Squid Junction at some point later today. But we'll yeah, I don't know how we'll do, but we'll probably take a set or two, hopefully. But yeah, it's a different kind of grind, but I'm excited. Very, very excited. Oh, what's up, Maddie? Picking up underrated players? Yeah, I just like I want people. I think there's different reasons why I pick different players, but I think the common theme around the team is like with the ingredients of the team. I think in the long term, hopefully we can kind of pop off a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I need something different. I want to play the game, but I don't ever want to hear the word result again. I have an aneurysm. What are you playing weapon-wise? I think for right now, I'll probably be playing a more aggressive role. I'll probably be playing vSlosh. That's why I'm kind of watching this right now. It's because a lot of times when I play vSlosh, I'm more focused on a lot of supporty kind of things. And I want to be more like... I gotta work on like carry potential kind of vibes. I still might play some Dread. I still might play some Splash. I think right now we're still in again infancy stage where like we're trying out different weapons. Like I think different people have different comfort picks, but yeah, I think for right now I'll be kind of more aggro oriented. It's something that I would also like to, and I think that's also why I don't want teams that are like focused on like needing immediate wins and everything, because it's gonna same thing with everyone else is gonna have to like learn and catch up to speed and everything. Like there's so much that I need to learn in like this new role. I don't want to be in a scenario where people have like these like big expectations and you know, feel like, oh man, things are going backwards the second that you don't get like you lose to a team that you shouldn't, or you know, you're expecting certain results, and I don't know. It's just I'm here for the longer term, and that's a lot of the reason of kind of formulating the team and picking players, but also just like individual minds that have that same kind of thought process and are comfortable in that situation. I should be game. Yeah, cool. All right, so I think we got a good vibe of what they do here. It was a little bit interesting. Like their timings and zones had to be a lot tighter compared to what we were watching, or at least what I was watching, with them playing Climb Blitz and Rainmaker and stuff. So it's I guess in some ways it's reassuring to me on how difficult, even for a player like Rentana, it can be to like find openings and opportunities.